Charges against a local doctor accused of sexual assault are dropped, but not before potential victims demanded he give up his license. Plus, federal employees get a second chance to submit work accomplishments, but there's still confusion over the requirements. We'll have those details just ahead.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News at Noon.
Thank you for joining us for your 5 News at Noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley here with meteorologist Stephen Elmore, who gets to deliver some very good news this week.
It's always good news. It's just whether you like snow or whether you like spring.
I think right now we like spring.
A little bit more like spring, yeah. Today we got those 70s. At least that will be our daytime highs. Lots of sunshine as well overall. Not a lot of complaining towards me for today from around the building. A lot of positive notes so far. We take a look around the area. A little bit of cloud coverage moving across parts of northwest Arkansas, across the river valley, seeing a lot more of that sunshine. Really, no matter where you are this afternoon, everybody's seeing a majority of that sunshine, and temperatures on the warmer side as we head into this afternoon. Taking a look at what it currently feels like out there right now. 68 currently in Fayetteville. Isn't that just like the perfect temperature outside with a little bit of sunshine mixing in as well? 66 there in Bentonville, 68 in Eureka Springs, 66 there in Van Buren, and 68 there in Fort Smith as well. 65 in Greenwood, 63 there in Springdale, and 66 in Rogers. Again, daytime highs today more than likely reaching up into those low to mid 70s by the time we get late this afternoon into the early evening hours. Again, when we look at the 24 hours, the past 24 hours, about a 10-degree climb in the right direction for those spring lovers. Again, feeling more like spring for today. Tomorrow, that cold front arrives. That's going to bring in some cooler air, some cloud coverage, and maybe just a few rain chances here and there. We take a look at northwest Arkansas the rest of the day today. Again, while we do have a little bit of cloud coverage working in right now, still daytime highs expected to reach up into those low 70s. The rest of this evening, though, looks absolutely fantastic. Once you get off work, closer towards 5, 6 p.m., we're still going to be anywhere between the low to mid 60s at that. After sunset, we get really comfortable outside, anywhere between those mid to upper 50s if you want to go for that evening walk across the river valley. Daytime highs today reaching up into the mid 70s. Plenty of sunshine out there. Absolutely gorgeous for today and this evening. Post work looks really nice outside. Still talking about those temperatures right around those mid to upper 60s still, even through the evening hours. So again, even if you can't get out a little bit early from work today, you have the evening tonight to enjoy some very comfortable weather. That cold front does arrive for tomorrow, though. That's going to bring extra cloud coverage, and that's going to bring the chances for a few raindrops here and there. We're going to talk about it coming up.
Thanks, Stephen. And new at noon, a Fort Smith school bus is involved in a crash that leaves both the driver of the bus and the driver of another vehicle with injuries. There were no students on the bus at the time of the crash. It happened on Jenny Lind and left both drivers with non-life-threatening injuries. And there is a new head football coach at Northside High School in Fort Smith. The school board hired Dom Maroki on Monday. Maroki has 15 years of experience in Division I and II collegiate football. He replaces Felix Curry, who was reassigned after the season ended last fall. Meanwhile, a federal complaint has been filed against the board on behalf of Coach Curry, claiming a violation of his 14th Amendment rights. It says the board violated Coach Curry's rights by denying him a chance to address the board during a December 16th board meeting last year. The school board also appointed Gregory Carthen to fill the position on the board that was vacated by the resignation of Talisha Richardson in December. He will serve until those May school board elections. Well, prosecutors in Benton County have dropped the case against Dr. Adam Moss, who was accused of sexually assaulting patients after he agreed to relinquish his medical license. It's part of what's called a null pros of the charges, essentially meaning a dismissal of this case. Benton County prosecuting attorney Brian Sexton says that rulings in last week's in regards to evidentiary issues had an impact on the case the state was going to present. Sexton tells 5 News that attorneys from their office notified the victims of those rulings and agreed to the importance of Dr. Moss surrendering his license. Moss was facing 3 counts of second-degree sexual assault in Benton County in connection to a complaint filed in 2022. He still faces additional charges in Washington County. Police are asking to speak with anyone who has had encounters with a Bentonville man facing allegations of child sex crimes. Bentonville police say Andrew Apple was arrested last week. Detectives say this all stems from illegal acts with a child. Police are asking anyone with information on this to give them a call. And a traffic stop in Chicago ends a months-long manhunt for a suspect in the death of an Arkansas RDOT worker last September. 24-year-old Calvian Thomas now faces multiple felony charges, including first-degree murder. Thomas allegedly drove off after being stopped by West Memphis police. During the high-speed chase, Thomas allegedly hit and killed 36-year-old construction worker Justin DeGaldo on I-55. A second worker was also injured in this incident, and the arrest comes after an extensive search by Arkansas State Police and U.S. Marshals. Well, at the state capitol, a bill that could change Arkansas's ballot petition process overcame another major hurdle. The bill would require petition canvassers for statewide initiatives to inform potential signers that petition fraud is a criminal offense. Supporters of the bill say it would provide awareness and steers away any bad actors from the petition process. But some opponents raised questions about how the criminal offense would be prosecuted. This passed in the House on Monday, but the Senate still needs to sign off on some amendments made in the House.
They've been debated. Most all questions were answered prior to today. Was a couple of questions on the House floor, but overall, I think coming into session this afternoon, most everyone knew how they were going to vote.
The Senate is also set to debate two other petition-related bills today. And the controversial prison proposed for Franklin County has sparked debate amongst lawmakers, the governor, and community members. Last month, the state senator for the region, Brian King, proposed 6 different bills that would prevent the building of the prison. On Monday, Senator King gave updates about his bills to give more tools to the criminal justice system in Arkansas to help lower crime rates and incarceration rates.
If we don't, do something about the high crime and they don't have some responsibility, the rest of the state shouldn't have to bear the burden of inmates or incarceration when we know that 2 out of 3 inmates in incarceration only originate from 8 counties.
When Senator King first filed his bills against the new prison, Governor Sanders' office responded, saying in part that putting off the burden of long-term incarceration on county jails is a failed strategy. Federal workers are facing mixed messages from the Trump administration and the Department of Government Efficiency led by Elon Musk over an email asking them to list their accomplishments over the past week. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
On X, Elon Musk doubled down on his directive to federal employees to report their accomplishments over the past week, saying workers have a second chance or face termination.
I think everyone thought it was a pretty ingenious idea. We have to find out where these people are. Who are they? And we said, if you don't respond, we assume you're not around.
But following pushback from some federal agencies, a new memo from the administration's Office of Personnel Management leaves it up to the individual agencies as to how to proceed. Some, including the Department of Defense, Justice, and DHS, told employees not to respond to the email, while others, including Transportation and Education, were told to comply. Unions representing federal employees have slammed Musk's latest move, saying that the workers report to the agencies that employ them, not to DOJ.
It's kind of an invasion, I feel like. We already have a chain of command that we follow that know what we do every day.
CBS has learned the Office of Personnel Management has asked at least some agencies to start tracking how many probationary or newer employees have been fired and how many employees took the buyout offer. Robert McCabe, who was fired from the IRS, says he voted for President Trump.
I wasn't voting for a king. I'm not voting for a dictator who is just going to do his whim.
Facing heat from constituents, some Republican lawmakers are now calling for the administration to slow down and study the impact of widespread cuts. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
A federal judge has refused to immediately order the White House to restore the Associated Press's access to presidential events. The judge said the news organization had not shown it had suffered irreparable harm in the matter, but he urged the government to reconsider its 2-week-old ban. The AP filed a lawsuit Friday saying its First Amendment rights were being violated. President Trump said it was punishment for the agency's decision not to entirely follow his executive order renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Well, meanwhile, Pope Francis remains in critical condition, but the Vatican says his condition has improved slightly and the kidney issue is not a concern.
He hasn't had any further respiratory crises. He has been able to reduce the amount of oxygen flow when he was using the nasal tubes. They've been able to reduce that.
Pope Francis was able to resume some work Monday inside Rome's hospital, calling the parish of Gaza, something he's done regularly since 2023. Doctors and nurses at the hospital prayed for his health during a mass, while children being treated there made him get well cards.